Hey, what's up? It's Jim Pro and Zax from Ready Check Pull. Welcome to the unnamed podcast where we talk about WoW and things. What's up, man?
Hi. What's up?
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Dude, we gotta come up with a name, man.
I had a
It's too
name
hard.
and it flopped, dude. It flopped hard.
Yeah. We've had some floppers.
We had
Really
like the
terrible.
the last pull, uh, the
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 ready
ready
check,
check. Yeah.
the last attempt.
Yeah, we don't
I
know.
don't know. I don't know.
Welcome to the
So what's up?
WoW podcast. We should just call it the official WoW podcast.
Oh God, yeah. No one will have an issue with that.
All right. So how's the pandemic treating you, dude?
The pandemic is great. Wait, that's not what I'm
It's
supposed to
good.
think. Wait,
Pandemic is awesome, dude. Hell
yeah.
yeah.
I don't know, man. Basically lived my life already like there was a pandemic outside. So now that there is one, now
Yeah,
the
I've been
government's
social
giving me
distancing
free
since
money.
13.
Yeah. So, government's giving me free money now for doing what I was already doing. So it's like, okay, okay, that's fine. What you
Well,
do what you gotta do. So I don't know. What about you, man?
it's going good, dude. It's going good, you know? Just spending a little more time with the kids, spending a little more time with the wife. Those things aren't good, but like everything else is like great, dude. Those things are awful. No, all right, yeah. So let's talk about some World of Warcraft, dude. What happened this week?
So what happened this week is Blizzard actually listened to feedback, if you can believe
No,
that.
no, 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 no. I'm saying
Sound
what actually happened. Not jokes. This is serious.
No, I know, dude. Yeah. They actually listened to feedback, dude. It sounds like a joke, dude. I know,
Wait
but
a second.
they yeah. Like a lot of it. It's like a lot of little things, but there are a couple huge things with the like Torghast. Uh they try the whole torment system out where, it's based on how long you spend in there and it ramps up over time, so you're encouraged to get through there faster. They
What ramps
tried that
up?
out. It's like a debuff. I don't really remember the details of it, but it's like a debuff that you get that makes Torghast harder the longer you spend on each floor or something like that.
Yes, it's just
And
the longer you're on a floor, if you have to go AFK, get a drink, whatever, you come back, it's just harder.
yeah, yep. And then so you're punished for taking your time, so to
Yeah.
speak, or
Not
waiting on
fun.
cooldowns or whatever. Yeah, and everybody freaked out, said, "Hey, this ruins the whole idea of Torghast. We like when things aren't on a timer. Come on, you know this already." And everybody, gave their feedback and was like, "Oh, please, Blizzard, listen." And then they said, "Hey, we heard you don't like timers, so that's gone." But so it's like, oh, okay, you just listen to it now, all right. And then they were like, and also, Torghast is too easy, right? Because your character just scales out of control.
Yeah, there's a point where
For
you just one shot shit and like nothing can kill you.
yeah, so there's like, all right, well, we still want to do torments, but not like that. So now it's just going to be, it's kind of like the further up you go in the floors, uh, the torments just start happening like statically. So like on floor 17, you get a torment that does this for the rest of your run. And now it's just mobs do more damage or have more health or we take more physical damage or
Which they
whatever
needed.
they
They needed to add something
whatever they
like
come up
that.
with. Yeah. So it's almost like the way I think of it, it's like they're adding like a mythic, I mean it's not like a mythic plus affix, but they're adding an affix to
Like a
every whenever you get
generic
to a certain
affix.
floor. Yeah, super generic. We'll see what they come up with, but that's kind of what it's like. So it's like making the run harder because on the floor, they got to get the tuning, they got to work on that a lot. But like when you get to the further floors, your character is just out of control. Like you're just one shotting everything. You have infinite resources. You're always in your cooldowns. You have some crazy stuff going on. So like they have to make the mobs really, really difficult to matter at all. And I think they're just actually figuring out how to do that because the timer thing was a no go. It was actually like kind of irrelevant. Like it didn't actually change anything, but it was just a bad idea. This one's like, okay, it's not a bad idea. Let's just see if it actually works.
Yeah,
So
I love
it's
that
nice.
everyone's biggest comment was like, well, they have to do something to like make it super hard, and you know we don't want people to have to be able to wait till Bloodlust, and like I remember Preach was talking about this in the video he just put out yesterday. They don't want people to you know wait for Bloodlust and all this. He's like Bloodlust is always off cooldown if you have the right things. Like your Earth Elemental is just always out if you have the right thing. Like the waiting
Yeah.
for cooldowns like is just not an issue. Like that is not a
Right.
thing that's even like happening.
Yep. And even if it was, like, why should it be a problem?
Why?
Who
Yeah, if you want to wait and you want to get further and you're gonna be patient and wait it out and get to the next floor, then that's on you, dude. Like you can do that. You should be able to do that. And I think it's crazy. Let me tell you right now. Let me get a little closer. I think it's
oh,
crazy that Blizzard is not only listening about like they're making these changes and then they're like, well, we heard you, gone. Like it's like
yeah.
the next literally the next content patch wave. They're like, all right, well, that's gone. Well, that
Yeah.
didn't work out. And I know you're gonna talk about Fire Mage here in just a second, but
Yeah.
you know they're just like the feeling that I get right now is when I come on and I'm like, all right, what's the WoW news of the day? I'm like, and then I see like Blizzard patch. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be good.
Yep.
And how long has it been since that's been the feeling? How long has it been since you know you go to look up some WoW news, you're like, oh, there's a new patch out. Oh, it's probably some dog shit thing that's coming out that's gonna be awful. And then like right now though, it's like, oh, you don't like that? Oh, you want this? Oh, here you go. Oh,
Instant.
we're also gonna make it fun too. We're not just gonna give you everything you want, like the covenants and things like that, where you have to actually choose yours. We're gonna make sure that it's actually good for the game. So they hired somebody that is just a goddamn genius, dude.
Dude, that's what I think. I think, you know, there's somebody new up in there, like, making things happen. I don't know. Maybe Ian's just popping off finally, but I think that something's going on. Maybe it's just because it's like alpha. Normally we don't hear about stuff like this. I don't know, but
I think they
they're kind of.
hired Elon Musk. That's what I think.
Oh, okay. I think they are enjoying this expansion. They're like, Torghast, wait, you're actually letting us do that? Oh, okay. Wait, you don't
Yeah.
know how it works? All right, we'll figure it out. Okay. So I think they're having fun. And yeah, like just thinking about BFA. I mean, I don't even want to, but just thinking about BFA and how they didn't listen to any feedback. It feels like in the beta, like Azrai Gear just launched in a real bad way. I don't know. It's a long
Even
story,
worse
but
than not listening to feedback,
even
they actively said that they're not going to be doing things.
yeah,
It's
or
like,
like,
no.
or whenever they did finally fix something, like give you the Azerite vendor, or whatever it was, give you the corruption vendor. It's like months too late. It was just
Yeah.
like, "Oh,
It's when the tier's
finally we did
over.
this." And also, what the fix that you gave the vendor, or the change in the thing, isn't even quite right. It's not even like, not even fully there. It's like, yeah, we got a vendor, but it's still random, and like
Like
that's not the
when you logged on your
point.
mage and you're like, wait a second, I don't have any of these this currency. How
Yeah,
do I
I
get
really. Yeah. What do you mean? Oh, my character's been bugged for months, and yeah, okay, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Which was a system that was to fix the earlier system of
Yeah.
essences
We're gonna
that
just put a
was
band-aid on a band-aid on a band-aid on a
they got
band-aid.
and they got a ton of feedback on the essences being account, and then they took that, dude, I don't, it's like an endless site. Like BFA was just
It's
not
what it was. It
listening,
was
and
an
then
experience that it was just one of those experiences you take with you, and you're just like, all right, that's something that happened, and we're just gonna leave that in the past. You know, it's gonna get
yeah,
left with WAD, and it's just gonna be one of those. We just missed. We struck out on this one.
yep.
Uh,
Yeah, it's
but
kind of a
Fire
bummer, but
Mage,
they're
dude.
listening, dude. Yeah, Fire Mage, and actually like some other little things with certain specs, and covenant abilities and random stuff like that. But to me, the biggest thing that they listened to again was Fire Mage, because going into Shadowlands, they kind of shook things up a little bit. Fire Mage has been kind of broken lately,
On
in
live.
BFA. Yeah, on live and BFA. Mostly, I mean, I mean, there's a lot of things going on, but I think one of the main things is whatever single target damage you do, Does it, however you do it, that just automatically, without you doing anything whatsoever, gets spread to and like turns into AoE. So that's kind of without, like, you don't have to change your rotation at all. If there's 4 mobs, you just hit one guy and you do AoE without, you still do your whatever. You know what I'm saying? But they want to have some interaction where it's like, all right, you have a single target rotation and you have an AoE rotation, and there's some mixture in between. So if, like, you have some choices to make, like whether you're going to do one or the other, and you can kind of mix in between them. So
And this is something people ask for.
Yeah, pretty much. They're like, there's not enough going on with Fire Mage. Like the ignite being automatic is kind of weird. It used to be back in the day that you had to kind of control your combustion ignite kind of stuff. You had to build your ignite and use it in a certain way, and people want to kind of go back to that kind of thing. And so they tried it out in Shadowlands. They're like, hey, try this out. We're gonna make it so your fire blast spreads your ignite. And everybody's like, okay, let's try it out. Oh, it turns out Fire Blast is core. It's a core ability that you have to use in your regular rotation, so there's 0 decisions to be made.
Yeah.
It's actually just a worse version of Fire Mage. You have to use Fire Blasts to make the rotation work, so you don't have any to mess around with. So in a week's time, a week or two, amount of time, they got the feedback and they said, hey, okay, how about now it's like, now you have Phoenix Flames. Try that. That does it now. It's like, what?
And how does that spread it?
Wait, what do you mean? That was a talent. Like, wait, you just took a talent off of the talent tree and put it on my bars for free? You can do that? Like it's nothing?
Yeah.
You can just do that?
Wait,
you could have
why
done
did you do that before?
Yeah. Like, what? If it's that easy, man, like, I don't know. But yeah, so now you got your regular rotation that you've been doing with Fire Blasts, instant off cast, reacting to the hot streak kind of stuff. That's all normal. But now it's like you have like 3 charges of Phoenix Flames. It's like basically like Legion Fire Mage, because that was the artifact ability, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But so now Phoenix Flames is the thing that spreads your ignite. So you can like dump them all into your combustion to get a really big combustion, and you end up with a huge ignite from your combustion. Or if you think that like the AoE of whatever encounter you're doing is going to be like kind of more like spread out or like sporadic or whatever, you can have like a regular combustion where you use like 1 or 2 Phoenix Flames, and then over the course of the fight, when you feel like you have a good ignite going or some ad spawn or whatever, then you use Phoenix Flames, because you're like, ooh, I want my ignite to do stuff right now. And then use Phoenix Flames that actually like gives you more ignite, all that kind of stuff, does some AoE damage. It's like it's got a good little flow going on. Like, it feels, for this whole controlling your ignite idea, this is definitely better. Whether or not it's ultimately going to feel good, I don't know, but this is definitely like a better version. And that's like they just listen to feedback. They're like, here you go, try this, it's better. All right.
It's better right now, feeling wise, but like the numbers are a little off on on them, right? Like I think you were saying that Fire Mage, like it's just like a little bit lackluster because of the way that they scale with stats.
Yeah, Fire Mage is.
Wait, first off, I wanted to talk about Phoenix Flame a little bit more about single. Like, do you use that in single target now? Is that part of the rotation or no?
Yeah,
it is.
Yep.
So no matter what, aren't you in the same boat though now? Because you're just doing your single target rotation.
Kinda, yeah. Well, so it's like in single target, there's a lot less decision making with it. It's just like you use it when it's gonna do the most damage. So like you dump them all into your combustion, or if you're using like Rune of Power or something, you only use it during Rune of Power or something like that. So there's less if it's single target, but you still use it. But when there's AoE, that's when things get.
So you actually will hold it for 2, 3, 4, whatever mobs.
Yeah. So yeah, you'll be making decisions. Single target, it's just like a nice little extra crit generator thing. So that's cute. That makes your combustion feel pretty good. Because right now, in live, like your combustion is just filled with like you're just pumping the entire combustion. And then you go into Shadowlands, you get like 2 pyroblasts, and you're like, oh, I'm empty. Combustion's still going. I don't know what to do. But now it's like, oh, with Phoenix Flames, I can be pumping my entire combustion. All right, there we go. We're back. We're back. I'm pumping.
Have you tried the new build in any dungeons?
No.
Because that seems like where it seems like it's going to be a fire blast, you know?
Could be, dude.
Oh!
And the way they've kind of balanced things out, maybe it's just because it's the beginning of the expansion, but you kind of have you're more incentivized now to use Flame Strike and stuff like that. So like in live, it has to be some crazy a number of targets to use Flame Strike, which is like that's now you're doing an AoE rotation. But on in Shadowlands, it's like 2, 3, 4. Like it's a way lower amount to start using Flame Strike, which I think is a little healthier kind of style. So that's cool. But yeah, they're doing good stuff. They're listening. There's all kinds of things like the Covenant ability, like I think it's the Night Fae ability for druids, the convoke the spirits. It the one that spams like 16 abilities in 4 seconds, which sounds hilarious.
Yeah.
They were like before, it spams 16 abilities. It prefers your spec, whatever you're doing, whatever you currently are. And they got feedback that, hey, it's not using enough. Like if I'm a Pharaoh Druid, it's not using enough Pharaoh Druid abilities. And they got that feedback and they said, okay, we'll make it do more now. It's like,
that's awesome. Yeah.
Okay, you can just change that apparently. Sweet. All right. Yeah, that's exactly the change that we wanted. Thank you. And it's like there have been several of those little things, which is like, oh, hey, wait, you guys actually read what we say, or that's cool.
That's the Shadowlands Heart of the Wild. Because I want to read what they do.
Shadowlands, I think that's what they talked about in the post.
Which spells does it do?
I think there's like 2 per spec. So there's like 2 categories, 2 bear abilities, shred and thrash.
Oh, it's shred and thrash?
Can't really remember.
So it's even good in AoE?
Maybe, dude.
You think it'd just be spamming thrash in AoE?
I don't know.
That would be sick, dude.
How the RNG is gonna work out, but either way, it just sounds hilarious. Like just spamming your buttons, for free.
That's awesome.
But there's like a good flow going on with Shadowlands. It's like still super early. We got 5 almost 6 months left probably until it comes out. It's this early, and they're listening, and they're like, hey, do you like Torghast? No. All right, well, how about this? Do you like this? Yes. All right, we'll keep that. All right, Fire Mage, do you like this? No. All right, how about this? Like they're listening. They're actually adding stuff, and things feel like they're like moving forward and stuff. And on that note, with the game feeling good, they just released the Ardenweald zone.
Yeah,
and that place is amazing.
Yeah, that place looks absolutely stunning. Like, I mean, we did post a picture up on Reddit that I would say got a few upvotes, but it's just that the look of everything, the blue look with the way the trees have the little engravings on them and the skyboxes and everything. It looks like what I feel like the Night Elf zones should look like now.
True.
It's like they just feel that you go in there and you feel like you're in a world that is just full of happiness and love, and then you get attacked by a stag that's pissed off that but whatever. But it's gorgeous. But I did notice something with I don't know if you noticed this while you were going through. It is not optimized. Like it is absolutely not optimized for hardware for your computer. Like like when you would look around, like I don't know if you noticed, but I put on the FPS little counter, dude. I would drop like 20-30 frames looking into like the blue fog whenever there's like that like blue haze that's around. That would tank. So and my computer is a monster computer, so if someone has like a lesser computer, they got to fix that. That's actually an issue.
It's all that fairy dust, dude, just floating around. You know,
Yeah,
got all the crazy animations.
they gotta
That
get one of
might
those.
actually be what it is.
They gotta get one of those little dust sprayers to get that fairy dust off of you know, you know,
So we optimized the game by going around and yeah.
dust it off Ardenweald. But no, it's awesome. Ardenweald looks great, and everything. First off, Bastion obviously looks great. You know that I loved Revendreth, and now Ardenweald is just like honestly out of control. Like everything about Shadowlands is becoming like, I don't know, exactly what you wanted in a World of Warcraft game without any gimmicky shit. Right? There's no gimmicky thing. There's not like some lore guy that it's like they've been holding out on, like, you know, Arthas is back, or I mean, which they probably will be, but they're not like leaning on those things, right? They're not oh, let's give you an artifact weapon, or let's, you know, so you guys can have, you know, the Doombringers or this, that, and like all this shit is like there's no like giant threat. It's just everything is awesome. It's just the zones are awesome. The dungeons are awesome. The Torghast is awesome. Like, so yeah, them releasing Ardenweald, and then when they just released Mist of Tierna Scythe, like 2 weeks ago or whatever, like those, they're fucking fantastic, dude. Like everything that they released, we're just like, damn, this is even better than the last shit they gave us.
True. It's good. There's like you said, there's no trickery. You know, like the Legion artifacts were dope, but it was like does that really make sense? I don't know if that. I think that's just a attention grab, but I'm cool with it. But this one's just like, no, it's just we like WoW, so we made a good WoW.
Yeah. We like the game.
Like all the like, dude, the 3 zones that we've seen, they could not feel more different. Like if you care about that kind of stuff, like the feel of a zone, it's like if you're choosing a covenant, dude, like you go from Revendreth, take a portal from Revendreth to Bastion to Ardenweald, and within half a second of your eyeballs seeing the screen, you'll know where you're at. Like it's so distinct, like the difference between them. And then I'm sure, what's it called, Maldraxxus or whatever?
Yeah.
Like I'm sure that's gonna, like, I mean, that's gonna be totally different too. Like they got a good thing going here. And then for that main city, dude, Oribos, like the heck, like you never see anything like that.
You see the zones in the distance in the skybox, and they're like all connected, and some are getting sucked into the maw, and then some are like off, like and they all look gorgeous, and they all look like they're just a heroic leap away, dude. And but they're obviously not, but it's just like yeah, it looks absolutely stunning. Even the shit that's undone is still like amazing. Like you walk through and you're like, oh, there's supposed to be a portal here. There's no portal. It even looks great without the portal. It's like everything looks great. But but that's the art team, dude. Here's the argument that everyone always says. And whenever I post these pictures on Reddit, whenever like I'm talking about Ardenweald looking gorgeous and things, whatever, there's always like hundreds of comments saying, well, you know, the art team always carries World of Warcraft, and this expansion is going to be shit like the other expansion. Even though, because, you know, BFA looked good as well and all this other shit. And it's like, yeah, but that's not the case this time. That is 100% not the case this time. It looks great. It looks better than BFA in almost every way. Yep. And on top of that, there's nothing that not a single person that I hear talking about Shadowlands is saying bad shit. Like no one is just saying that this is a terrible system, like, oh, Warfront's bad, or Islands, like this could get really boring. Everyone is just like everyone's saying positive things. Dungeons are great. The Torghast is great. It's so that comment that they get is like, it's justified because BFA was freaking atrocious. But the fact that like it's not that right now, and I've been trying to think of how we can get that point across. Like that's why I was saying, like, you know, 1,000 hours in Shadowlands, making like a blog post or something, letting them know that we've been playing. Yeah. We've been playing a lot. We, like, you know, especially you've been playing a lot. And if there's anyone I know that is critical of when WoW goes into a bad direction, it's you. And you've been having a damn blast right now.
Yeah, and yeah, it's a good feeling. Like like you said, the art team, as you know, always carries WoW, right? But sometimes the rest of the game is a letdown. The art team is popping off right now.
Yeah.
Not carrying like BFA. Like they're popping off. Like they know what they're doing, and it's dope. So, if that's an indication of anything, I don't know. But also the game is good. That's just gonna be very good. I mean, I gotta say, dude, the one negative thing, if we're gonna get into some negatives,
all right, let's talk about it.
Me being critical, and I feel a certain way about this, but at the end of the day, maybe it won't be that bad. This whole AOE cap thing, man.
You're not feeling it?
Lizard, if you're listening, bro, bros, which you're not, but if you're listening to feedback, I'm sure you're hearing this from 1.5 million people. AOE caps are awkward. I don't like, I was telling you yesterday, I was in Torghast playing a Ret Paladin, and there's a bunch of the pots that you have to go break in Torghast to get some dust that you use. You got to break all the pots just for like Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time kind of stuff. Just breaking pots.
I love doing it, by the way.
There's 10 pots. You're like, ooh, I got a Divine Storm. I'm about to destroy all these pots in one button. It's like this doesn't really matter. They're just pots. Nobody's logging. No, you're not parsing. But you press Divine Storm, this massive flash of light, explosion of hammers and damage. The damage numbers go flying across your screen, and you hit 5 of the pots.
Yeah.
And there's still 5 at full health within range of your Divine Storm. And they're just there. You only hit 5 of them. You one-shot the shit out of 5 of them, and the other 5 untouched. Completely untouched, like nothing even, you're not even there.
All right, we gotta break this down. We gotta talk about this a little bit further. Okay, so that scenario feels bad because first off, you don't know how they pick the targets, right? Is it the closest? Is it the highest health? Is it what, like, you don't know what's going on. So on like bolstering and things like that could be bad.
Oh, true.
So like you don't know how they're picking the targets, right? But don't all paladins now have, doesn't every class have something that is AoE for everything? Like uncapped?
Really minor things, yeah.
So like you have like consecration
maybe, yeah, which does its damage over 1 million years.
Yeah. Yeah. So all right. So now thinking about, so you're talking about something when you ran in, you're like, all right, there's these 10 pots, I'm gonna smash them all. But do you feel that when you're fighting mobs? Like I haven't felt that yet. Like in a dungeon, at least when we ran any of the dungeons, like I'm not upset that my AoE is capped on anything. Excuse me. And I kind of feel like it's not something that is gonna be a problem until it's a huge problem, right? Until you have something like bolstering, or until you have something where you're just like now you have to tab target like a maniac to get everything to die at the same time, or maybe or maybe someone just does a giant pull and like for whatever reason something happens. In dungeons you're doing whatever and then you accidentally pull something because some hunter's arrow shoots the seagull in the sky, right? Yeah. And so you're just pulling like extra shit and you're just like, well, we're just gonna die because we can only kill 5 things at a time and we don't know how they're even. So if it's not the lowest targets, then those things aren't gonna die, and if it is the closer targets, things move around all the time, so you're just never gonna kill anything if it's a big enough pull. So so it's gonna be a non-problem until it's awful. So hopefully they tune all the dungeons and things like that so that shit like that can't happen, or at least happens super infrequently. But I see it as it's not a big issue most of the time. Like 90% of the time it's not going to be an issue at all. But the times that it is an issue, it feels really bad. And I also don't understand why it had to be that route. Why did they take that route of capping that rather than just making like the mobs that, if they want to discourage people from pulling everything, just make the shit hit harder.
Yeah,
something. I don't think they took a bad road. I just think that it could have some bad implications, especially with affixes.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like now I think about it, like it's when you're doing a dungeon, you don't notice that it's a thing. Like I mean, and like, until you're doing like MDI stuff, pulling everything strats. Maybe I don't know, but it's the alpha. Like let's calm down. When you're doing a dungeon and you're going one pack at a time, you literally don't notice that your AOE is capped. Because it doesn't change the decisions you make. Everybody's doing AOE. You don't see exactly the damage you're doing to this one mob. So like you literally don't notice it and it's fine. Who cares? And that's all, everything's fine and dandy. But when you're alone, I feel like when you're alone, that's when you notice it the most. If you're ever going to notice it. And then, yeah, like you said, if it gets into like the high level kind of things where it's like I need to AOE this specific set of mobs at this time and limits my pulls, maybe won't be fun. But when you're alone and your big Divine Storm only hits 5 things exactly, no more. That's it, only 5. And then you're attacking 6 mobs. You press Divine Storm, it kills 5 of them and leaves 1. You're like,
at full health.
Come on. Yeah. Like I didn't even touch him, like not even a little bit, like not even like reduce damage to after. Like I think that's the main thing that I have an issue with is that it's a hard cap. It's your
I
don't know, your blade flurry.
See, I agree with that 1,000%.
That's the bad thing. Your blade flurry will only ever hit 5. Your blade flurry will and I see that's hard to even keep track of how many it hits anyway. Your blade flurry will only ever hit 5 targets, no more. Period. Doesn't matter. I hate you. But why can't I do like a little bit? Just a little bit to the 6th guy or a little bit to the 7th guy. Like why can't it just be reduced? Like I do a big dam
100%
to the 5 and then it scales down after that. Like
30%.
Yeah. Exactly. Like why not? I don't know. Like the hard cap thing is definitely the issue, I think.
No, I agree with that. I think that's probably harder to implement than just to cap it off for them. So that's maybe why they went that route, because it obviously is a better solution to be like, all right, so the first 5 you're hitting at 100, and then every mob after that, it's like reduced by like 50%, and then 50, and then 50, and then 50, and so that way it's not just a nothing burger. But like, what happens when you have like in Adel-Dazr, you have those little jumpers, and Atal-Dazar.
Adel-Dazr.
Adel-Dazr.
In Zuldazr?
Yeah, in Zuldazr.
Oh, okay.
Those little jumpers, the little dinosaur jumpers. Like when you have mobs like that, and you have the big one with the little ones. Like, does it just wipe out all of the big ones, the little ones, and then not touch the big one? And then like that big one is bolstered to 5,000, and like, what do you do at that point? Now you got to like, I don't know. So I could see that being real bad in certain situations like that. Or does it just pick the big ones, like, and then ignore the little ones? So now the little ones that are just destroying your ranged, like, do you just not kill them because you can't target them?
Yeah.
A little weird.
I think this is one of those things where it's like if they want to do the AoE capping, the clear solution or answer at this point is if your thing is set at 5, that's fine, but it should still hit things above 5 for less. That's just it. That's the solution. There you go.
And at that point, you can even make it 3 or 4, make it less at the top, and then make it just linearly go down. Exponentially.
Like they could do, exactly. And I think if Blizzard's going to continue with this trend of, hey, there's a thing that's wrong with the game, let's try this to fix it. What do you guys think? No, all right, how about this? If they continue that trend, and like next week, 2 weeks from now, whenever it is, they say, hey, we heard the feedback, we're changing AoE caps to be like more of a soft cap. What? Dude, I'm gonna lose my mind. Like I'm gonna lose it if they say that.
I'm definitely upgrading to the collector's edition at that point.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm buying a year sub, dude. But like I just feel like, I mean, it's hard to get your hopes up about WoW and like them fixing stuff with the history of but
what are we talking about? What are we talking about?
They could just say, here you go.
Listen, what are we talking about right now? It is shit that it's hard capped at 5. But bro, this is what that's a problem that we're talking about. We're not talking about, they're putting shit on the GCD. We're not talking about we're losing all of our artifact passives and artifact abilities, or we're getting stripped.
Right.
Like, we're not talking about this type. We're talking about, it's shit that it's 5 or 6 cap that we don't feel 99% of the time, but when you're killing pots and Torghast, it's like, what are we talking about? Like, this,
you're talking about
it's freaking awesome. This is like the greatest negative I've ever heard in my life.
You're so right, dude.
That's like saying I have too much money.
I have. Yeah. The biggest gripe I have is something I literally don't notice 90% of the time. Like,
that's so good. Oh my god!
Like first world problems,
Yeah, first world problems. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That is.
I mean, you're so right, dude. That and like, I mean, I guess like the Covenant lock thing. Like,
we still haven't gotten soulbinds. We still haven't gotten legendaries. There's plenty of time to to shit on WoW. Like, we got months. We got months. We still haven't got any of the end game dungeons. So we got months to just, really shit all over this expansion. But now,
so far so good.
Right now, he's very good.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm digging it. And like, I mean, like we did the little rogue challenge, dude, yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about that, dude.
Yeah.
Me testing all these specs, trying to figure out.
Yeah, you were Mach 5 in it, dude.
Yeah. Even like the classes are feeling good, so like that's another positive thing. Even though they haven't added legendaries and covenants and all that stuff. The
base class is what you've been saying forever, and I think we talked about a little bit last week. But like the base class, the base class, you're saying when you log on, you're like, this just feels good. Like, this feels good. This works good. There's a little bit you could improve here, a little bit, maybe a little bit there. But like, you're on warrior, you're on whatever. You're just like, this just is fun. And then you go on rogue, and you're like, I dare you to try to get better than me,
dude. Maybe I'm like, like it's fun because it's like actually challenging. Maybe I'm a small brain. Maybe I'm just bad. Maybe multi-dotting's not my thing. Maybe I need to add on. I don't know what it is, but try playing Assassination Rogue in AoE and let me know how that goes, because bro, like, you're tracking so many things. You have to, as an Assassination Rogue, it's fun. Like, if you like that playstyle, and especially in dungeons, it's fun. There's a lot to keep up with, and maybe it'll be strong too, who knows. But you have to work so hard for the same outcome that an Outlaw Rogue is just like close his eyes, spamming his keys, dude. Yeah. Like, it's so like
Outlaw Rogue's on steroids, and then like Assassination Rogue is like deprived, like it's malnutrition.
It's wild. Like, and it's not even thinking like that's the same class.
Yeah,
it's not even like a different class. You're literally just changed specs, and now your rotation is ridiculous. And it's like a totally like could not be a more different play style. But like still fun. And you don't even have like a covenant ability or legendaries or like anything, and the spec is still already like hard to keep up with. Like, that's crazy that they're like hitting the mark right there. That single target Assassination Rogue, I won't. That's a different story. But like AoE Assassination Rogue, if you ever get a chance to try that, oh my god,
it never feels good. As a person who maimed a Pharaoh Druid, like, it never feels good to put in so much work to get nothing out of it, right? So like, it would be nice if Assassination Rogue wasn't it being as difficult as it is, like Shadow Priest was in the day, Pharaoh Druid is, Assassination Rogue, some Warlocks, whatever, like, them being so difficult to play should be rewarded a little bit. I'm not saying like game breaking rewarded. I'm just saying, like, if Outlaw can just stand there and easily get a high number of DPS, then Assassination Rogue, tab targeting, tracking 13 dots, literally like figuring out where their energy is, where their buffs are, slice and dice. Now you got to figure out what your cooldowns are, and now you got to vanish and garrote things 5 times, but you need your energy to get there. If you're tracking all of these damn things, like, you should at least be 5%, 3% better than Outlaw that's demon huntering their way to the top of the meters, you know?
And not, it doesn't have to be a lot better.
Not a lot. I'm not even a 2%. You know what?
Yeah.
How about this? Even match it. Just match the outlaw DPS. That's a good start.
Yeah. Yep.
Because I felt like, I mean, you felt it too. Like when you're in the middle of like a sick track, dude, you're just like you're going around, you're tab targeting, you're hitting your garrotes, right? You got you're hitting your ruptures, you got your Crimson Tempest up, everything has got all the dots on, nothing's falling off. You're like, I'm pumping, and then you look at the meters and you're like, well, I felt like I was pumping. Like, but it's not really representing the amount of work you're putting in.
Dude, wait, yeah, that's actually kind of true. Like if you like if you try to ignore like tuning, right? If you do, you're doing your little AoE test, messing around on dummies, trying to do your rotation as an outlaw rogue. You're just kind of cruising. Like you get some buffs, you're like, oh, this is cool.
Yep.
But you're not having to think too much. Like you're just kind of chilling, reacting to buffs. It's just like a moment to moment reaction.
Demon Hunter, yeah.
Which is like, that's cool. That's enjoyable. I like that. That's fun sometimes. And you pump, for free.
Mm-hmm.
But then you get on Assassination Rogue, you're like solving differential equations, and it's like kind of totally different play style, still enjoyable. When you get it right, dude, like you actually are like, damn, like I'm good at this, I feel like you don't get that with Outlaw Rogue. As Outlaw Rogue, you're just like, I instantly hit the skill ceiling and we're good to go. With Assassination Rogue, you're like, oh my god, dude, I could have done that better. I could have done that better. Wait, these past like 10 seconds, I've been destroying, dude. I'm so good. So it's like it's so crazy how like you can get a different feeling
when like
but they're both enjoyable. Like
6 seconds earlier, you're just like, oh my god, I just need one crit, so I have that combo point that makes it work out, and then everything is gonna fly into place. And then it's like that little meme where like the mind blows and like you ascend to a higher power, and then the outlaw rogue is just sitting there, like, and just crushing, and you're just like, damn it, that guy just has better swords.
Yeah. It's gonna be pretty interesting to see how they balance that all out. But I like that it's just two different playstyles that are both fun.
What about sub?
We don't even have the rest. Dude, subtlety is crazy, man. Like,
explain, learn me something.
I'm telling you about it. Like on and this is all on the same spec. 3 specs, all totally different, and they're both cool. I guess like subtlety and assassination are the most similar. But as subtlety, like on AoE, you get. I mean, it's the same. It's kind of always been where you get so many combo points. You're just flooded with combo points. Every time you press Shuriken Storm, you get 1 billion combo points based on however many targets you're hitting. So the rest of your entire class is based on how many combo points you're spending. So you can run different talents where you're just always in Shadow Dance. Like, huh? What? Like I can just always
forever.
be in Shadow. Okay, that's cool. And then which means okay, and now if you're always in Shadow Dance, that means you can talent into like buffing your Shadow Dance, getting more energy while you're just flooded with energy now. So now you can put out infinite Shuriken Storms, which means you put out infinite Ruptures, which Rupture is baseline now. So you're putting out a ton of Ruptures. Now you're like spamming Eviscerates. Now you can run a talent like you can run like what's it called? I can't even think of what it's called. I don't know. There's an AoE talent, which is dope. When you press it because it does a bunch of damage, but the cooldown of that gets reduced by using combo points. So now that you're getting to spam that thing. So it's like subtlety just has this crazy, like I don't even know what to call it. It's just like a vicious cycle in AoE, which we kind of got to see showcased in VFA a little bit. But this one is just it's kind of like it feels less of like an exploit. It's just like oh, this is awesome. I get to spam my AoEs, throw eviscerates around. I don't know. It feels good.
How do the three right now tuning wise compare to each other?
Tuning wise, Outlaw Rogue blows the entire rest of the game out of the water. Like literally, literally every spec. Yeah, so Outlaw's a little bit overtuned right now, even in single target. I think they just have like some funky numbers going on with Outlaw. But subtlety and assassination are like pretty close. You have to go like as assassination, you can kind of run like pretty much single target build, and like do your AoE, But as subtlety, you have to go like pretty full AoE build, you know, as far as my testing has gone to like to beat to like rise above assassination. So that's kind of like a cool little balancing act they got going there. It's like subtlety can be better in AoE, but you got a talent for it. Maybe assassination's a little more balanced. But dude, subtlety is a blast too, and it's totally different. Like you're, you know, the similarity is you fan of knives to do ruptures, and that's where the similarities end. You know, it's like it's a different spec. I love it.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
That's all in one class, man. It's crazy.
So that's what we were just talking about, that because you're putting together those monk that monk video, you know, the little first looks or whatever, and it's how do you beat this? How do you beat a rogue class? Like how can a monk possibly compete with that? Like
I don't know.
You have 3 very unique, very distinct play styles, all of which are really competitive. So it's not like any of them are lacking in damage, and one is absolutely broken. And then they all have the utility that just like makes up an impossible class to beat for something like Windwalker or Ret or, you know, whatever. Like it's impossible to beat that for them. So like that's
Exactly.
that's kind of weird to think about. Is like, even if Monk is doing good damage, even if Monk has a little bit of utility, like the outlaw subtlety assassination, they're just gonna, one of them is gonna shit on it because of the damage, and then the other 2 are just gonna have different unique play styles. So if something doesn't work for a certain fight, just pick the other one.
Yeah. That's kind of like, that's always been a thing. I know, like we always talk about it. Like, I mean, everybody talks about it, right? It's like if you're coming to WoW, you're coming into an expansion, you're like, all right, I'm trying to choose a class to play, because like you only have time to play one character maybe, but you're really good and you want to dedicate yourself to one character, and you're like, all right, but I want my character to be good at everything, you know, I don't want to be playing a sandbag class, you know.
I don't want to get
So it's
sit
like what's the safest class for me to pick? I really enjoy Windwalker Monk. That is just the most fun
First
I've ever
off,
had
he's
in
not
this
lying.
game.
He really does enjoy Windwalker Monk.
Yeah, I'm asking for a friend. You know, I'm digging Windwalker Monk. It's a blast. I want to play that, but you know, I'm hearing Rogue has all this stuff. Rogue, you know, I kind of like Rogue, but I would rather play Windwalker. And then now you're looking at the pros and cons, and you're like, okay, Rogue has this and this and this and Shroud and Cloak and Faint, Vanish, and
Cheat
Seth
death.
and Blind, and okay, where does it end, man? It has an immunity and like, okay, do they?
But
When do they
Monk
get?
has
Are they gonna get a
Jwen.
class buff? Yeah. And it's like, all right, Monk, I really like it, and it also has debuff that other specs can
Ring of
give.
Peace. It just does not compare, and that is unfortunate, dude. And a good example of this is something like Warrior, because Warrior right now, I'm looking at your little spreadsheet. I popped that shit open, dude. You got the craziest spreadsheet right now about all the DPS.
Yeah.
Insane. So like it says right now, single target Fury Warrior is running sub 1000 DPS, right? And then their AoE is barely breaking 2K. So Fury Warrior is dog shit right now. Obviously there's nothing, like we're missing so much from the game, so we're not. That's why like none of this actually matters right now. It's just things that Zax was doing for testing.
Yeah,
but
at this exact moment. But
Fury sucks. Well, I'm just gonna click this button, switch over to Arms Warrior, and now I'm crushing. Now Cleave is just crushing AoE, and your single target is perfectly fine. So having that, like, if that happens to Windwalker, where it's just like it just does right now, it's doing fine, but if there's any moment where it's like doing a little bit less, it's like, oh shit, I gotta go level another class.
Yeah, let me just switch my other spec. Oh wait,
that happens to Demon Hunter as well. Same shit.
Yep. And then like as a Demon Hunter, you have like a little bit of safety. You have
because you have immunities.
Yeah, you got the class buff. You got
the
the
raid.
immunity. You got
the raid cooldown.
Exactly. You got darkness. So, and you're the most survivable thing in the game, I think. So it's like
And it's also the
you got
most
some
fun.
pluses. Yeah, true. That's a big bonus. It's the craziest
But
spec in
even
the
Red
game.
has that too. Red has the bubble. That Red has like a few things that it's like, well, if you're gonna take a melee because you need an immunity, like Red has that, Demon Hunter has that, but Monk, damn, maybe it's just a Monk. Maybe Monk is just getting left
It's like
behind, dude.
it's like I mean, it's always been like the same specs. It's felt like, like it's usually a melee spec because that's another downside to Monk, I guess.
Survival.
Yeah, Windwalker, Feral Druid, Survival Druid, yeah, stuff like that. Where
Survival
it's like, okay,
Druid.
Survival Druid. Who said that?
Uh-oh.
This spec.
Spoilers.
But I mean, it's kind of always been the same. It's like a recurring thing in WoW. It's always been this way. Blah blah blah. How are they gonna fix it? Okay, well, we'll make it so you don't need immunities, and then they accidentally make a fight where you need immunities. Whoopsies! Huh? They did it again. Turns out immunities are broken no matter what we do. Why are immunities a thing? I don't know. They just, and it only, at the end of the day, this only really matters for like the super high end. You need an immunity to do this crazy strat. Most of the time, it doesn't matter. You can play Windwalker, and nobody should be sad that you're playing a Windwalker, because if you're good,
they
that's
do
the only thing that
AoE
matters.
on demand, and they have some utility, and they have great mobility, and they have damage increases and things. So they are great. It's just sometimes if the numbers aren't good, then it's that sad trickling effect, and then Blizzard has to do their 6%. Like, you gotta buff them by 6%.
Right. It's when you're comparing, you got one guy and you got another guy, and there's one spot. You got to choose one of these guys. One of them is a monk and one of them is a rogue. 9 times out of 10, you're probably gonna take the rogue, and it's just unfortunate. Feels bad, man. But Windwalker's a lot of fun. Maybe they'll give them something a little special, where it's like it balances the playing field a little bit in the utility, category. I don't know.
Is there anything that's unfun right now, in the class realm? Like I felt Arcane was boring as fuck, and me and BFA, I loved it for some reason. Like I thought it was awesome, but like at the start, I'm talking about the alpha, the beta. Arcane puts me to fucking sleep, brother.
Yeah. It's I would say Arcane and probably Fire. Fire's a little bit better, like feels a little better now, but Arcane and Fire, they feel like underdeveloped, I guess is maybe a good word. It feels like they haven't gotten around to spending time on those or something like that.
You think they're gonna, or they're just like, that's just what it is?
I think so. I mean, they've kind of left Arcane untouched for a couple expansions now. Maybe like 3 or 4 expansions. I don't know. Yeah. They just get this is just how it is. This is what it does. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's the worst spec in the game, and that's just what it is. Who cares? So I don't know. Maybe they'll give it a little love. It'll get a little more interaction, but it just seems like it's just stuck in this one niche, and they just won't take it out of that niche. So I don't know. Maybe they'll. And I wouldn't say it feels bad. If you like Arcane Mage, it's pretty much the same thing, and you're good to go. But it's not.
But man, that AoE rotation is the snooziest fest I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it's bad. But I mean, it's fun because it's like strong, and like it's like an ally rogue kind of, or I mean, it's not even that complicated. Like you're pressing 2 buttons, and it's hilarious.
And it does an insane amount of damage right now.
It's crazy how much damage it does. But yeah, they definitely need to spend some time on Arcane Mage. I'd say that Arcane Mage, probably I mean the one that everybody talks about is Shadow Priest. Shadow Priest is in a real bad way right now, and there's a lot of things about it that are bad. And that's a tough one. Shadow Priest is a tough one because since Legion, I think is when they changed the whole void form thing, and they got like a big redesign for Legion. Shadow Priest has just been like busted. Like it's the most broken thing in the game, or it's unusable, and they don't know how to balance it. This whole void form system and insanity and surrender to madness and just all that, Blizzard just can't. It's fun. It's a cool idea. Like it's a sick idea, but Blizzard just can't seem to get the tuning right. And because of the nature of like what it is, it doesn't seem like there's a way to get the tuning right. So I don't know. Maybe they'll figure something out. They'll be able to kind of save Shadow Priest from itself. But right now in Shadowlands, it's looking rough. It's looking real rough.
I think Shadow Priest and Shamans are gonna get that. Hey, it's not gonna be ready for live, but trust us. It'll be finished eventually.
The classic.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But I wanted to talk about. I played a bit of Feral Druid on Alpha, and I thought it felt really bad. Like I thought Feral felt really bad. I'm not even talking about the numbers. Obviously, the numbers are bad, but that's, again, we don't have legendaries and shit like that. So, but Feral Druid is basically Assassination Rogue. Why does Assassination Rogue feel so much better than Feral Druid? Like, yeah. I don't know what it is, but like when you're playing Feral, like you feel like you're doing nothing the whole time. You literally feel like you're doing nothing, and you're just like you're juggling 1,000 plates, just like Assassination. You know, you gotta keep your rip up on all these targets. You gotta have rake up on whatever amount of targets. You have to, if you take the Moonfire one, you have to have Moonfire on all these different targets. But like, it just feels dumb. Like it feels, it just feels like the rotation is super clunky. It doesn't feel good. Single target rotation puts me to sleep, just like Arcane. And it used to be the most fun. It used to be the most fun spec in the game. I don't know really what changed, but it's kind of boggles my mind how much fun I was having on Assassination Rogue and how little fun I was having on Feral Druid. When Feral Druid is like my class, dude.
Yep. It's a little unfortunate, and yeah, like
I didn't try balance, but you said balance was good.
Yeah, it's then they changed it a little bit, and I mean I kind of like what's going on with balance druid, but with Feral Druid, dude, like you have, if you're gonna do like a difficult like talent into like difficult AoE talents, it's ridiculous. It's like it's crazy how much you have to keep up with. It's so difficult. But the way the tuning is right now, what you should do is play like an Arcane Mage build where you literally only press swipe and Primal Wrath, and that's it. And that's how you do the most damage. It's like okay, maybe that's just a tuning thing, but like, come on, there's something wrong. There's something wrong with the spec if that's what's going on. There's not enough interaction. Like you know, we were messing around like with Assassination Rogue, when you have Garrote and Rupture, or either one of them, they give you energy back.
Yep.
That's the simplest thing I've ever heard. You know, like that.
Make sure you're incentivized
despite the damage that they do.
Yep.
Which is good. You have an incentive to do them regardless of how much damage they do. With Feral Druid, it's just it does damn.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's
it. And it's just like there's no procs.
Well,
there's no
that's
nothing.
What it is.
Damn, no interaction.
Oh, it's so 100%. What I'm feeling is that on dummies, targets don't die, right? So maybe it's a little bit inflated because targets don't die, and you're supposed to get those Tiger Fury resets, right? That's what makes Feral Druid really
talent, not even baseline.
Yeah, not even baseline, but yeah, you're supposed to get those Tiger Fury resets. And with Assassination Rogue, like you were just saying, is I feel like I have too many resources, which is always like, it's always so good. You're like, if I got Garrote on 3 targets, if I got Ruptures on 3, 4, 5 targets, like you're just blade of fanning, of blade of knifing, of fans of blading all over the damn place, dude. Like, and it just feels so good. And with Feral Druid, you're just out of energy and out of combo points, and you're just like, all right, I'm gonna sit here and wait while this Assassination Rogue is just pumping. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's what it is. It's just so slow, especially when targets aren't dying and you don't have the Tiger Fury talent.
Yeah, they got some work to do on that too, for sure. Make a little spicier. And it's like, it's how I don't know how it's the only spec in the game that can snapshot anything. How is that not cool? How is this not the cool spec that you can snapshot stuff? You know, like they gotta dig into that niche. I think like the fact that it's a spec in the game that can do something that literally they've taken out of the game for everybody. They're like, we don't want this in the game anymore, except for Feral Druid. They can keep it. It's like, oh, okay, well that should be. Let's focus on that then, because that's cool.
And that's what
But
the Pharaoh community wants too. Like they want that type of snapshotting, hard gameplay. They're a little sadistic, but like they, you know, they really like they want that shit. They, even if it does just enough damage to keep them smooth, they want to be spinning plates and moving and grooving. And right now it feels like you're doing no move, no groove, and no plates, and you're doing no damn. Like like nothing. You got nothing. But they did give them. They still got that crazy range. They still got the battle res. They still got freaking super speeds, and they got the AoE speed bullshit now. But now healers get it and balanced druids. So I guess that's a little bit weaker now too, which is whatever. But since we're going over all the classes now, we got 3 that we didn't talk about: Hunter, Death Knight, and Warlock. Let's get through them quickly.
Wow, we got through it. Jeez. Okay. Hunter, I'm digging. Marksmanship's kind of busted right now, which is fun.
Yeah, you're saying
I
that,
like
yep.
actually spent a lot of time like playing
They're
Hunter.
the best single target, right?
I would say they're pretty close. Like I don't I don't know if it's just like a weird scaling thing or what's going on, but yeah, they're very strong. And it's like I've always kind of liked the Hunter specs, especially like marksmanship. It's just like my thing. Rest in peace to old survival Hunter.
Yeah.
You know, maybe one day we'll see that again.
Name of the Father, the Son.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm digging marksmanship. I wish they're it's a lot of fun. Like they got a good balance. They got some good talent options. I like what they got going on, and the covenant abilities that I've seen so far for those look insane. But
oh my god, shooting through the wall?
Yeah, that's
sick, dude.
That's bonkers. Yeah, and the fact that it's like an AoE buff, and that's good stuff. But whatchamacallit? So yeah, I'm digging marksmanship for sure. They're really strong right now. I just don't like. I guess the one thing I would want, if I had to choose one thing, would be the you still can't cleave on 2 targets. You have to hit 3 targets with your multi-shot for the trick shots to activate.
Oh, it's like whirlwind. Yeah,
is dumb. Yeah, like that's I don't know. I don't get that. I don't get why can't it just be use multi-shot and it activates? Why can't it just be that? I don't know. And maybe it's like they literally have to change one line of code, and the only thing that changes is now it feels better.
Well, I know Ian did address that. He did say that he wants some classes to be good at 2 targets, 3 targets, and then some classes are good at 3, 4, 5. You know, he did say he wanted cleave to come back, where it's like you're good at single target, or you're good at 2 targets, or you're good at 3, or you're good at all of them.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, it's just that when it's been an issue with marksmanship and like Arcane too, and like Red Paladin, whatever, for a lot of BFA and Legion and whatever. You're hitting 1 target, everybody's happy. They all have your single target rotations. Now there's 2 targets. Most of the specs in the game are like, oh, cool, another target. I can hit both of these. Marksmanship does not have a button to hit anything on that additional target. That's like, I don't know. You got a hard cap on your on your AoE, and it's 1. It's like maybe that's not it, man. You know, like that's not quite right. But then 3 targets, you're like, oh, I'm back in the game. Time to play the game again. It's like it feels like you can't play the game when there's 2 targets, and I don't like that. And if there's like,
that does feel bad.
If there's 3 targets and they're not right next to each other, because you actually have to hit them with the multi-shot. So if they're like even slightly spread and your multi-shot doesn't hit all 3, you might as well have not pressed it. So it's like, okay, that's something they gotta, and it's a simple change. They just gotta make it activate when you press it, and marksmanship will be awesome.
But marksman doesn't have the problem that we are just talking about with Windwalker. They got 2 other specs: Beastmaster, who can cleave like a beast, and then survival also has good cleave. Like, so, I mean, who's gonna switch from range to melee? Let's be honest.
Hunter has an immunity with Turtle.
Yeah, so like, I think if marksman isn't the one for a 1 fight because it's 2 targets, you're not the end of the world.
Yep, exactly.
Like
BM, it's still good. Hasn't changed very much. They got a couple good talents. So BM still good old same BM. You can always literally never stop moving. That's always fun.
Mm-hmm.
So like BM's chilling. Survival, I think, is pretty similar. They usually get kind of dependent on like crazy haste values and stuff like that, so the builds change a lot. So I don't know if like the build's just totally different, but I mean, I
Yeah.
dig it. I like their little thing they got going on with the wildfire bombs, and you're still dependent on your pet a lot with like kill commands and all that kind of stuff, and I kind of dig it. It's just a different little style. What was the other one? Death Knight. I think it's Death Knight. Yeah, like Frost. Frost's DK is still a good old same Frost DK you've always seen. I don't know if they've even changed any talents now to think about it. But Frost DK is still good.
So I was playing a little bit, like I'm a noob. I'm like real not familiar with Death Knight, so nothing I say has any validity here. But when we were going through the specs and going through things, you were showing me how to play Unholy and how to play Frost, and Frost was so much more fun than Unholy.
Yep.
Like so much more fun. It was so much more straightforward. Unholy, I felt lost. And I felt like Frost had like the ability to all right, I got my cooldowns, I got everything ready. All right, I'm gonna run in and I'm just gonna destroy 4 or 5 mobs. Where Unholy, like I would go in and I'd be like, I'm gonna get destroyed by 2 mobs. You know, like there was like that's how I felt on Feral Druid too. Is like, and I'm pretty good at Feral, and Feral was just like I was just getting the shit kicked out of me.
Yep. And I think
Frost,
with Frost, it's still like not much has changed, and it's like it's an incredibly straightforward. You press this button, it does the damage instantly. Move on to the next button. It's like that, that's great. That's the kind of stuff you like when you're getting into the game and you're trying stuff out.
Didn't they get their big cooldown too?
Skill cap you can get. Yeah, you got the baseline big old flying dragon, which is that's cool. Yeah. That's always good. But like Frost always feels good because it's just you get procs, you use the proc, they do damage instantly. You don't really need much setup. You can plan your resources a little bit. There's a little bit of a skill cap, but it's real straightforward, outlaw rogue kind of style. Just you want to do damage, you do damage. That's step 1, do damage. But with Unholy DK, it's like you're taking an advanced course in Death Knight technology. Because it's still you if you want to boil it down to really simplistic terms, you can. It's builder spender. You got runes, you got runic power, build the wounds, burst the wounds. That's very, very simple. You can say it like that. But that ain't how it plays though, because when you're in a dungeon, when you're out in the world, it's funky because like that kind of builder spender is a little weird. But in a dungeon, like the sheer, it's very what's the word? It's like unintuitive, I would say.
Oh yeah.
Which it's like Unholy, I would say, is like especially with how many cooldowns you have, and they all have different timings on the cooldowns. You want to match them up. Sometimes you don't want to match them up. It's like the weirdest thing.
Can't match them up.
So yeah, Unholy DK, I would say it's still like almost exactly the same as in BFA, I believe. Maybe they made some like little improvements. But it's still just like you either love it or you hate it. Because you can. It's one of those specs where if you set up and you plan ahead, the perfect opener and like what the timings and all that good stuff, you can do this crazy unintuitive string of cooldowns and buttons and you pop off. Like you just do crazy stuff. That's still like right now can do that kind of thing in BFA because of some traits and all that good stuff, but it still has that. Like it doesn't have the like super crazy traits, but it's still the same thing where you set up all these different, like this domino effect of different cooldowns and whatever's set up, and then you just get to destroy, and like that it has that nice little rewarding feeling. Like I did a dungeon with an Unholy DK the other day, and he without saying it, he basically did our classic line of, "Don't worry, guys, I'll kill this trash pack. You guys can stay back. Stay back. I got all my cooldowns. Watch me go." And he
went.
Like, yep. He went. And then the next trash bag, he did absolutely nothing. But on that one trash bag, dude, he destroyed, and he was a genius. And I probably couldn't do that on my first try. Like I'd have to spend some time. That's like you got to get good at Unholy DK to get good.
Yeah.
And that's what people like about it, I think, and they're kind of keeping that going.
Nice.
It's pretty cool.
And moving on to the last spec we haven't talked about is the Warlock class. You got Affliction is the same, right?
Oh, dude, affliction, dude. I could talk about affliction forever. Uh, it's changed. Let me say, affliction has changed.
It's the exact
It's
same. What do you mean?
no. It's more. How do I even describe this in like a short way? It's more about multi-dotting than it was. I'll put it that way. But
Okay.
so like, I mean, there's a lot about dotting before. But now it's you're rewarded. You get like you can get like an instant payoff for however many dots you have out. So right now in BFA, you put out your dots, they take forever to do damage. So in like a dungeon, it's kind of a struggle to do damage as affliction. In Shadowlands so far, you put out all your dots. Huh? Oh, you put out all your dots and like so they're doing their damage, but now you get this instant burst do damage to everything payoff with their new like spender, the malefic rapture or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
So you spend your shards on this thing that does damage to everything based on however many dots you have out. So now what I'm excited about for Affliction Warlock is it has, hopefully it has more of a Mythic Plus viability. That's how I would put it. It has like you come into a trash bag, you do your AoE dot, you start putting up some of your single target dots, which I don't know, maybe you have like 3 total dots on each, and then you just start spamming Malefic Rapture, however you say it, and you're good. That's burst. You're a burst class in AoE. It's like, oh, whoa, okay. You don't feel that with Affliction very often, so I kind of like that. And it's gonna have like this crate, like I feel like they're gonna have to nerf it somewhere along the way, but they're gonna have the craziest multi-dot niche, like spread multi-dot. It's gonna be insane because Malefic Rapture hits everything regardless of how the range. If you have a dot on it, Malefic Rapture does damage to it, period. So that's gonna be crazy. Affliction is gonna be a lot of fun, I think. And then the other 2 specs I think like haven't changed even a little bit. Like Destro is still exactly the same, and so is Demonology. I mean, people have liked those specs. Like people like Destro. Like Demonology a little funky, but I think people like that too. If you like Demonology, you got a playstyle that you like, and they haven't messed with it very much.
Yeah, I gotta test out Warlock a little bit because I used to love Demonology. I liked Affliction. Yeah. So I don't know too much about Warlock right now either. Dude, Warlock and Death Knight, they're the ones that I kind of I get afraid of, dude.
Yeah, they're funky for sure.
Yeah, I get afraid of those ones. But dude, you just summarized all the classes, bro.
Whoops.
How do you know so much? What have you been doing this whole time in alpha?
Oh, hitting dummies.
And hitting dummies and checking logs and hitting dummies and hitting dummies. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. So I also wanted to little, move around to a different thing that I heard floating around. So I was looking at last night as I was going to bed watching, some old YouTubes as one does, and there was a conversation that got started is what is going to happen to Azeroth when we get out of Shadowlands.
Oh God.
Because lore wise, people think because Ian dropped a bomb and he said I don't know the exact quote, I'm gonna butcher it, but it was something along the lines of time has passed or time has moved. He didn't say past, but he said like time has moved. So when we get out of the Shadowlands, we don't know what time it is. So people are thinking, is that the future? Is that the past? Are we going back? Like we get out of the Shadowlands and it's like we go back to like classic days or or we go 10 years in the future and things are a little bit different. The world's a little bit different. Things happen that maybe some dude came and like took some shit over. Maybe the Scarlet Crusade did some things. Like there was people talking about just random things that could have happened, like the sword of Sargeras like kind of like causing some drama, and then there's no one there to protect, and like all that other so like people I don't know if you've gone down this rabbit hole, but that seems like the slickest way to move us into a different timeline is to take us out of Shadowlands, and then we're into the next expansion, which is, oh shit, we've been gone for some time.
Yeah,
like, imagine if
right.
100 years goes by, dude. Like, we're gone.
Oh
like
my.
you know, like some shit happened, and we're out of the, because obviously you can go back to Orgrimmar and right now, but like that's only just a game function. That's not like actual lore. That's, you know, that's not what's happening chronologically in the game. So like when we get out of this, it's gonna be like, oh shit, like we're either in the past, like way in the past, or we're like way in the future, and that could shake some shit up. WoW 2, baby. No, I'm just kidding. But that could really anything. Dude, that could shake some shit up like crazy.
Yeah, they could go. Damn, yeah, they could go anywhere with that.
And he literally, like, if he didn't say that in a tweet or whatever, wherever it was, I wouldn't even be talking about it right now, because I don't ever speculate on lore, you know, because you could go anywhere with the 3 butterflies matching up with the, you know, like you could literally do anything that you want with your imagination. But when he says, we don't know what time it is when we get out, it's like,
yeah.
What
time
you mean, dog?
Differently, yeah. It's like, wait. Why'd you say that? So you didn't have to say that. Why'd you say that?
But either way they could go, dude. If they go to the past, like you could go like way back, and then we have like, I don't know, like Thrall's, whatever Thrall's father or whatever the hell it was, Orgrim, not father, but Orgrim Doomhammer and shit. You could go way back, and then it's just like you start over to the whole lore is like some Warlords of Draenor type shit, which hopefully it's, you know, it's done better. You know, or you could go way in the future where like, dude, we don't even have to worry about these threats or whatever. We have new threats because they're all dead, because they all died of old age. It's like, Jesus. They could go anywhere. That's so, I just thought that was like the coolest bit of lore info ever. Is like, we don't know where we're going.
Dude, yeah, that's another thing about this expansion. Like, visually, it looks good. It plays good. They got cool ideas. They're listening, but the lore is wild, dude. Like, this isn't like BFA was pretty tame with the lore. You know, ultimately, like you had to dig in there to really get excited about Old Gods, which we've already seen Old Gods. But this is like, or the Arbiter, the Jailer. This is where all souls go, huh? Like, this is how have you kept this hidden from us this whole long? Wait, this is where Kael'thas is. Oh, you know, like they could do ridiculous things with the lore in this expansion. That's exciting.
And what if something that was dead comes out with us?
Oh,
like we get, like, you know, Kael'thas finds his way again to get out. That freaking asshole. Like, what, you know, that guy always finds a way. He's a little snake.
Yeah.
Ashes of Alar comes flying out of the, we kill the last boss of the expansion, and we see Kael'thas on Alar like, woo! I'm coming.
Yeah.
Half naked self.
Dude, even like almost regardless of what happens, like the Shadowlands lore is going to be insane. But
yeah, it's gonna be
like,
great.
Whatever happens to Sylvanas alone, that alone is going to be like one of the. I have no idea what they're going to do with that.
You hope she makes it.
I have no idea, man. I'm so like, I can't even think of all the possibilities.
You're just letting it play out. You're just like, I'm ready for it. You got all your pads on. You got your helmet on, and you're just ready for the lore tackle right now.
Yeah,
it's like, give it to me.
Sylvanas, I mean, I feel like you can like almost unquestionably say has been the most controversial character in WoW. Like, dude, like the amount that you can talk about Sylvanas and people hate her, people love her, people like they're literally let you in the game choose whether you're going to support her or not. It's like, that doesn't happen, you know? Like it's single most controversial, crazy character. Like, even like, dude, there's so much that can happen. Like, just whatever happens to her is going to be insane. Doesn't even matter if she's in Shadowlands or not. Whatever happens is going to be crazy.
Yep. I hope she makes it.
Shadowlands. Oh my god, Shadowlands.
She burns everybody down.
Whoa.
No. I was never one of the dudes that that was like on the Sour Fang, like, train. I was always the this is my war chief. She might do some crazy shit, but this is my war chief, right? And I was always on the Sylvanas side, and I love to see all the all the liberals, the all the
the drama, dude.
all the Orgrimmar liberals coming in. Where's Thrall? We need our Thrall. No. Sylvanas would rip Thrall in half.
And whether you hate her or you love her, they could like pull something out of the old hat where it's like, oh, she's actually been protecting us this whole time.
That's what I think. I think she's doing it for the greater good.
And we just never knew, and now we know. Like, that could happen.
Yeah, but the way she did
the prison,
the way she did the Lich King like that, I wasn't feeling that. Like that, I was like, all right, you could have, you could have left his helmet intact. You just didn't have to like rip it off his face and break it. Okay.
You could have let him get a couple hits in, man.
Yeah, you didn't have to literally own him in every single situation that happened in that fight. Like, Jesus, like give him a little bit. Like he's a lich. He saved us. He did all these good things.
Now. Yeah,
whatever. Bolvar
dumpstered him.
All right, well,
dude, how about we talk about what we're gonna do, or what we're working on right now, and then we head out. How about that?
All right, what are we working on?
All right, so if you know about us, you've probably seen Jim's Shadowlands 101, or our Shadowlands 101 series, but really it's Jim.
It's ours,
and it's dope because it blew up the leveling video. If you want to know about leveling, there you go. Boom, pow.
Yeah,
quick
did good.
Video. So Jim's working on this Shadowlands 101 series, trying to break things down like that. So he's doing stuff like that. Got Covenants coming out. Gonna explain those. So that's good stuff we're working on. I'm working on
all of
class,
all the classes.
Yeah. I'm working on like class focused stuff. So I'm like breaking down the specs, saying what I like I did in the podcast. Apparently did that on accident because I've been looking at them a lot. But that's kind of my thing. So I'm working on making little reviews and stuff for specs. Maybe I'll do some deep dives.
But don't belittle it, dude. Like
it
he's really putting in hours. Like he's not showing up like saying Rogue is good because he put in one dungeon and did hit a dummy for 5 minutes and whatever. Like he's got numbers, he's got logs, he's got hours on every single spec, going through every single talent and every option possible, and it's insane the amount of stuff that he's got going on.
Yeah. So these are gonna be good. So we got Shadowlands 101. We got the specs coming out. Obviously, we're known for like our raid boss guides and stuff. So we're doing dungeon guides, which you've probably seen those too. So we're making guides for the dungeons. There's only 3 out so far, so we're waiting on the other 5. I think it's gonna be.
Yep.
So whenever there's a dungeon comes out, hey, we're gonna be the first ones to make the best guide. There you go. So expect that. That's coming. And now you can find the guides on Icy Veins, dude.
Oh, yeah. Big shout out to them. Hopefully, we've been trying to... So one of the things that we've been trying to do with these podcasts is we've been contacting a lot of the people that are, that are making content for World of Warcraft and trying to build a little bit of a community. And some have responded. So there are a few people that we're going to try to get on the podcast. Hopefully for next week, we'll have some. And Icy Veins is one of them because... these guys do so much for the WoW community, and they're helping us out by showcasing our guides on their website, and also we're writing some of the guides. Zax is mainly writing some of the guides as well, and so Icy Veins really helping out with that partnership for sure.
Yeah, we want to get people on here. We're trying to do the best interviews you've ever heard. Okay, that's what we're aiming for, because when you hear some of the interviews that go on, it seems like they didn't really think of the questions. Maybe too long, and maybe they don't have the best questions. They don't have the best rapport going with the people. So
this is what I do when I hear someone interview someone else. That's what I do. I fall asleep, bro.
We don't think they're doing it quite right, so we don't know exactly how we're gonna do it, but we know it's gonna be better than that. No flame, but let's be honest.
Yeah, honestly,
we got to have some good interviews.
Also, we we do stream, we do things. Check the description if you're on YouTube or whatever. We are going to try to be doing these every single week. So keep on track with all this stuff, and hopefully you guys like the stuff. If not, let us know. If you do like the stuff, let us know what you want to see, what you might want to see for a Shadowlands 101, what classes you want to see Zach's finish first, like anything like that would be great.
We're open to communication. You can actually talk
that
to us.
Dirty.
Oh,
and
yeah,
our
Discord,
and
everything
Discord.
you said, dude. On the Discord, hit us up. We'll actually respond. We're cool like that.
Yeah. I'm Jim, and who are you?
Zach.
Hey, all right. Thanks, guys, and hopefully see you guys soon.